Good morning, friends. It's story time with Miss Vivian and Dorothy, right? So let's call her by her name on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Dorothy. Oh, hello, friends. Hi, Busy Bugs. Hi, Miss Ellie. Hi, Miss Vivian. Hey, Dorothy. High five. Woo! I like that. So, Busy Bugs, I heard that you were talking about a certain season and what happens in that season. It starts with the letter S. Spring. Right, springtime. Springtime. And in the springtime, you can do a lot of planting. So, Miss Vivian, do you plant? Well, actually, Dorothy, I have a little garden that I think I'm going to show the Busy Bugs on a different video. Oh, that's so fun. What did you plant? Oh, I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to show the Busy Bugs what I planted in my garden. But did you bring something special for us? Mm-hmm. What did you bring? A book. Well, can you show it to us? Yeah, let me get it. It's a book about flowers and how to plant flowers. It's called, maybe you can help me read it? Oh, I know you know that sight word. The, right? Tiny, seed. The tiny seed. Good job, friends. The tiny seed. And the author is Eric Carle. Eric Carle is a special author because he also does the illustrating. So he's the author and the illustrator. And look at his beautiful pictures. He has a very special way of making his pictures. And I hope you enjoy the story and his beautiful artwork. I'm going to let Miss Vivian read it. Have fun, friends. Bye. All right, Dorothy, let's read The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. If I can open it, here we go. The Tiny Seed. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? So do you see all those little brown dots? Those are all seeds. And do you see this one? It's so tiny. It's a lot smaller than all of the other ones. Where do you think they're going? Really? Let's find out. One of the seeds flies higher than all of the others. Up, up, up. It goes and it flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with all of the others. So this one went too high, but the little tiny seed is still going. Another seed lands on a tall, icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go quite as fast as the others. So here are all the seeds. There's one that drops on the top of the mountain. And if it's freezing and the snow is covering it, it can't grow, right? Because the sun can't get to it and help it grow. So the tiny seed is still going. Let's see where it goes. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and it drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed doesn't go as high as the others. So look at the seeds, they're all flying. One of them fell in the water, and the tiny seed is still going, but it's a little lower than all the others. One seed drifts down into the desert. It's hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind still pushes it on with the others. So look at all the seeds flying, and look at our tiny seed. It's very low to the ground. This one fell, and it's such a hot desert, and it doesn't rain very often, so it's not going to be able to grow. But the other ones are still moving. Finally, the wind stops, and all of his seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. So I don't know if you can see all the seeds on the ground here. And there's the tiny one, our tiny seed. And this one, the bird was able to see it, so he's gonna eat that one. So that one is not gonna be able to grow. But our tiny seed is still there. So let's see what happens. Actually, what do you think is gonna happen now that the seed is on the ground and it has dirt underneath it? Let's find out. Now it's winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse doesn't see it. So here are all the seeds. The tiny seed is right there. This is all underground, and the mouse is underground, so it eats the seeds it can find, but it doesn't see the tiny seed, so it is still okay. Now it can't grow yet because it's covered with snow, but let's see what happens. Now it's spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round that they start to burst open a little. Now they're not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down in the earth. Can you see the roots right here? Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow upwards towards the sun and the air. There's another plant that grows a lot faster than the new little plants. It's a big, fat weed, and it takes all of the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. So here I was showing you the roots of the weed, but all of our little plants have roots also. And unfortunately, this weed took all of the water, and so this little plant is not gonna make it. But these are all fine, and guess what? This is our tiny seed, and it's also sprouting. The warm weather brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and the springtime. One child doesn't see the plants that he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. Do you see the leg of the child that's running? He accidentally steps on a plant, on this flower, and so it breaks and it's not gonna make it. But we still have some other ones that are growing. The tiny plant grew from the tiny seed, is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7, and look, a bud, and then now the bud even turned into a flower. But what is happening? First, there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over, then a hand reaches down and breaks the flower. Have you ever seen beautiful wildflowers out that you're allowed to pick. There are some that you can't pick, but when you see a wildflower like this, a red and yellow one, those you can pick. And mommies and daddies can always tell you which ones you're allowed to pick and which ones you aren't. But that one got picked, and we still have our tiny seed. It's still growing, not as fast, but it's still growing. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. Aw, that's so sweet. It is summer, and now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on, and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it, and the rain waters it. It has many leaves, and it grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses, and now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower that they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. Look at the people, and look how big the flower is. Wow, that tiny seed really turned into a beautiful flower. All summer long, the birds and the bees and the butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Look at all the animals. And now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow colder, and the wind carries the yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the big bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. So what's happening to the petals? When the wind blows really hard, do they fall off? Are they flying off? Right. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. So this was our flower, and all the petals were around it. And in the middle of the flower, you have what we call a seed pod. And in the middle, there are many, many, many seeds, probably hundreds of seeds. And so when the wind blows really hard, after the petals have fallen, then the seeds fly away. And that's how the whole story started, right? With the seeds flying in the air, and some of them landing in different places. So what I was thinking that you guys could do today is, I wonder if you planted a seed, what kind of beautiful flower or plant would it make for you? So could you grab your journal, and I want you to draw the most beautiful flower or plant or tree that would grow from your seed, and then underneath it you can explain and write what kind of tree, what kind of flower, what kind of plant that you made in your that you drew in your journal. Make sure you illustrate it and make it look nice, and then try your best to sound out the words. We can't wait to see what you've done. We'll see you soon, Busybugs. Bye.